It's a pretty diverse community that many have been here for 10 years, even longer.
The city of Imperial Beach means a lot of things to Joshua Lopez. It's the place where he found his first apartment as an adult, where he and his mother Rosa have lived for 11 years, where his mom can be close to her grandkids, who she watches while Lopez's siblings are at work.
It holds a place in my heart where it is home. It's comfort, it's safety, and I'd hate to leave it.
Now, though, Lopez is trying to figure out whether this is going to be their last year here in IB.
And it's informing us that our tenancy of this premise is terminated effective January 31st. And, the immediate feeling is fear.
Lopez and his mom are being evicted. They got the news last month. And it's not just them. The new owners of their building, a 64-unit apartment complex called Hawaiian Gardens, are kicking everyone out. For decades, the building was owned by the same family. But just last year, it was sold to a real estate company called F&F Properties. Now, F&F is evicting everyone so they can renovate the building, adding new floors, cabinets, heating, and air conditioning systems. This is technically legal, and in a statement, the company argued they had gone above and beyond to help tenants by letting them keep their security deposit and 1 month of rent, and giving them 3 months to move out. But Lopez says that's not how it feels. He's a staff member with the Chula Vista Elementary School District, and he's not sure how he and his mom will afford to move on just his salary.
You're in shock, especially when you've lived here for so long and you've done everything right. You've followed the rules, you've paid your rent on time. You're not sure why exactly this is happening.
And Hawaiian Gardens isn't the only building bracing for this kind of eviction. In a different complex right next door, Sherman Qualls is also preparing to receive a similar notice. In May, his apartment building was purchased by another private equity firm. That same month, they got a letter saying the owners were also planning to renovate the building, and that eventually everyone would need to move out. Qualls is trying to stay positive, but the news is coming at a bad time. His wife, Marie, is dealing with several health conditions that make it hard for her to eat and get around by herself. Both of them had good jobs that left them solid retirement plans, but those medical bills are adding up.
It's all over the place, you don't know what to do. A lot of people have moved out, but right now I can't afford to move out, unless I take a big portion out of my savings,
Again, these kinds of substantial remodel evictions are allowed under state law, even if the tenant hasn't done anything wrong. But these evictions have drawn a lot of criticism in recent years from tenants' rights groups, from San Diego and LA to the Bay Area.
Investors come in, will evict an entire complex in order to get people out and then jack up the rents to the market rate.
Jose Lopez is the San Diego director of ACE, the Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment.
Every day we're losing more and more of the naturally affordable housing, and it's just making it more difficult for people to make ends meet.
State lawmakers agree with this diagnosis. Last year, they passed the Homelessness Prevention Act, which added new limits on substantial remodel evictions, but didn't eliminate them. Some cities have gone even further. Just last month, LA banned this kind of eviction entirely. Property owners there can still do renovations, of course, but they have to help their tenants find somewhere else to stay during the remodeling and let them move back in afterwards. Dozens of renters in Imperial Beach, including Joshua Lopez and Sherman Qualls, are urging the IB City Council to consider doing the same.
We are hearing our community's needs loud and clear.
That's Imperial Beach Mayor Paloma Aguirre. She says she's planning to bring this forward for a discussion at the next city council meeting in 2 weeks.
It doesn't benefit anybody putting people on the streets, especially over the holidays. And so in that regard, I would say let's look at options. Let's look at a way that is fair for everyone, that doesn't impact people and people's lives.
It is a long shot, and some people aren't waiting. Qualls is already beginning to box up their things, starting with the dishes and picture frames. He is trying to keep optimistic. As Marie's health continues to improve, he hopes their medical costs will fall, and they'll be able to afford a better place.
I don't let it bother me. Whatever I have to do to survive, I will.
Just next door, though, Joshua Lopez at Hawaiian Gardens is scared. But he's still holding out hope that the city council will act.
Moving immediately is a quick solution, but there aren't any guarantees that anywhere that we move to, you won't be faced with a similar situation, whether it's months or years down the line. And I think the more effective thing to do is to approach our city council and to work on a middle ground to prevent this from happening.
Lopez hasn't started packing just yet. In Imperial Beach, Kori Suzuki, KPBS News.